something about Mrs Birling which at first glance does not seem to make sense, but which, if discussed well, could help you hit that grade 9. Basically, it's the way in which her distress regarding what she did to Daisy, Renton and Eric seems to evaporate so incredibly quickly. At the start of Act 3, as Eric makes clear to Mrs Birling that she had withheld aid from a woman carrying her grandchild, and was thus responsible for Renton and her unborn child's ensuing death, Mrs Birling seems for a moment to experience genuine distress. Mrs Birling says this in response to Eric's accusatory speech, and the stage directions even read, "very distressed now." Given the imploring word please and the litany of breathless dashes, we might even think Mrs Birling's distress was born from guilt. Yet, later in the same act, Mrs Birling seems to be utterly remorseless. How do we explain it? In my view, Mrs Birling's initial distress is in fact not born from guilt, but from panic that she had done something that might tarnish her family's reputation. After all, this would explain her eagerness to cover things up near the end of the play. This would be a great point in an essay on Mrs Birling. It illustrates what a breathtakingly vain individual she is.